don't even know where I threw those tools.
I started recording the second I heard you coming up the walk, so we could jump right in to the thing. Thank you so much.
Good. Are you recording?
It's recording. We are recording. I double checked. I triple checked. We are actually recording, and it works.
Yeah, the people were rightfully angry with you, sir.
Yeah.
I love that you didn't check the backpack.
No.
Just as I suspected.
Oh, you said not to do the drugs in there.
Leaving my plan complete. To be completed by me, the assassinator. It's supposed to kill you. I got this today.
Foiled again.
Got it. It's cool. That's the intro.
I'm thinking for this one we'll call it like two businessmen discuss business things. The show.
This is a business hat, right?
Yeah, it's a business hat.
That's what I said.
What you do business in.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And I'm sure of things I say.
Oh, that smells nice.
Good
Welcome to the show.
Morning.
Ben bought me a beverage.
It's a morning show.
It is. You know what though? In fucking 20 minutes, it will be the morning.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's the middle of the night. I just got back from a wedding. Ben just got back from work. You are weirdly out of frame. Did the camera get moved?
It could be the couch. Sometimes the couch moves.
That can't possibly be the case. Oh my glob. You got this whole problem now. Yeah.
I get tired of like when people talk about parts and things and they're like, well, if it's in there right or it's tight enough, then it shouldn't come loose. And I'm like, no.
That's not how anything works.
After if you
That's
screw in a screw after like 10 years, you'll need to tighten it. Like it's just the way it is. If it still can be screwed, you will need to re-screw it.
Left-handed screws.
Things don't just stay screwed on their own.
Things don't just say screwed on their own.
The show.
But
I haven't worn this in a little while.
Hendricks. Yeah. You look fancy. You look good.
No, you
is
look
Is that a
fancy.
double-breasted
Yeah,
jacket? Nice.
it might be.
I haven't seen one of those in some time.
That's some of your hot cocoa.
We're, yeah, Ben got coffee and I got hot chocolate because I am a child. Today, we will be discussing business things.
What's business like?
What's
business like for you? I mean,
business is great. Business is booming.
my business too has been great and booming.
I businessed my way up to
A wedding.
the wedding today. I businessed all the way there, and I businessed my way back home. One time I did 23 business all in one day. Man,
That's like one business an hour.
almost.
Almost.
Plus
That's-
1 hour for non-business because I had to take a break.
You always must take your business mandated business break.
You can't just business all hours.
I mean, I don't know.
Some hours must not be business.
I don't know what the fuck.
I have never in my life been just as fucking like haggard. I've got so many irons in the fire right now, and I am loving how much we're able to be accomplishing at this moment. But like,
What a
holy shit, I'm
fantastic expression.
tired.
Irons in the fire.
I'm working on some really cool
My
things the
little
people on the
wrists.
Patreon
Too
have
fucking
heard
long.
about already. I've got some cool
My
YouTube
arms got
videos coming
longer.
out. I've got some interviews I'm doing with some peoples.
That's pretty cool.
And meanwhile, I've got a bucket of reeking deer jawbones in my garage.
I've seen them.
That
Every time I come by to visit,
I'm
you
trying
show
to
me
find time to finish working on them, man.
You're like, look at this shit.
I've got to just dry them. They're already prepped and ready to go. Before I can sample them, I need to get them dry. And so, like, because I dried them with the towel, but, like, there's a little bit of water trapped in there, and they're in vented bags, but, like, they're still in bags, so that little vent just isn't doing as much as it could be, because they're all piled on top of each other in a fucking bucket. And so, like, I want to, if I could just leave them out in the sun for a day, that would do it. But that's not going to happen, because it's windy and whatnot.
I don't want to...
Just life.
You picked it.
Is supremely weird at this moment.
No, you picked it. It's actually it's gonna stay like that.
It says caution, contents hot, and eventually that will be a lie.
Yeah, well, you could say that about anything.
You have a straw in your coffee?
We're not doing this again. You can say that about anything that's true. Holy shit, Forrest, you're so wise. Any truth will eventually become a lie.
And that's the point of today's show. I'm so tired.
Lies. Forrest is tired. He's sleepy.
What have you been up to today?
Today?
Or just in general?
What was today?
Saturn Day. It is a good day.
Then I went to work.
Yeah.
I went to work all day. Yeah.
Did businesses. It is
actually... Yeah, I probably did 20 more businesses than you. You don't
know anything about anything.
Fucking amateur.
Today is April 9th.
Anytime you want to talk to a business layman, you can just hit up Forrest.
It's Saturday, April 9th for the next 15 minutes.
Okay.
And that's pretty cool because this is the day that the Confederates surrendered the first time, when Robert E. Lee actually surrendered. There was still some fighting west of the Mississippi until like November something, I think.
There were some guys that were like, we just likes the fight. Some
uninformed pockets of dumb people, but like,
we just likes the fight.
So that's when the Civil War officially ended.
Keeps the states' rights. We just wants to fight.
The Confederates surrendered on April 9th. Today's the anniversary of when those fucking goofy slavers finally had enough of getting stomped down into the mud by the fucking Union.
Jesus Christ, you're fucking having a time over there.
Oh, I love it. It's a wonderful day. I think it should be a federal holiday. I think you should get a day off work for this.
I don't think we should celebrate anything ever, and people should work every day.
Because capitalism.
Work them into the ground.
Fucking, just remember, kids, they wanted to use humans as farming equipment so bad that they left the country, and then... they started a war. They shot first at, I believe, Fort Sumter, wasn't it? They attacked American soldiers out of just no fucking reason. And then they lost the war that they started. So they were racists, and then they became traitors, and then they became terrorists, and now they're just losers. And there are still people out there in the world that like to fly the racist, traitor, terrorist, loser flag. And it fucking, dude... It completely baffles me.
Most people who fly that flag don't understand what's even happening, though.
No, most of the people who fly that flag think that it's like their heritage.
They don't preserve history. Their heritage has been taken from them long ago.
And I'm like, how many fucking statues of Hitler and swastika flags and shit are up around Germany to preserve the heritage and remember the history? Or do you think that we can learn from history without celebrating it? You fucking dupe. And then there's also, I've heard this one.
Whoa.
I heard this one recently, actually. Somebody said that
something happening with statues again?
Oh, yeah, no, it's anytime they try to take down a fucking dumbass Confederate monument that was built in the 1960s in direct opposition to the Civil Rights Movement. People are like, blah, 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 history. And it's fucking stupid as shit.
It's pretty recent history. That's the problem.
I heard somebody say recently that wearing a Confederate flag reminds them to be a rebel. Reminds them to be rebellious against what I'm like. You know who's a cool group of rebels? America. The Americans fucking left England for a good reason. Didn't start a war. They were being massacred, and that but like they didn't start the fight. And then here's the best part: they won. We're the winners. We're not the losers who had a country for 4 years. I've been in school for like twice as long as the Confederacy existed. 4 years of being little bitches and then lost the war that they started. And then now here we are as the winners. And we allow them the freedom to fly their traitor flag, a freedom that they surely would not have allowed us.
What does that even mean? Because if the nation's gone, then they don't exist anymore.
That's still the flag of the traitors.
You can't say it's not like there's like I don't want to talk about this for the rest of the episode, but you can't say it's not like there's a race of Confederates.
No,
right?
no.
Like and a race of Union soldiers. Like right. So I'm trying to figure out what we're saying because it sounds like
there have been there were a bunch of Confederate flags. The one that's popular now is just like a stylization of one of the battle flags.
Yeah, because the propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a stupider version of a stupid flag from a stupid
country. I already
country
know that
stupid
anybody
shit
who listens
for stupid reasons.
Anybody who listens to this show or watches this dumbass podcast and doesn't
this hot chocolate
doesn't hate us also knows this, right?
This hot chocolate is too hot. I can't drink it.
All flags are stupid.
Agreed.
I understand if you have some sort of reverence towards some sort of flag, but you should also understand why other people wouldn't care about that flag at all. And you should understand that I don't care about pretty much any flags. I care about people.
Yeah.
Luckily, I can't vote anymore.
What? Are you serious?
No, I don't know. Okay. I'm pretty sure I can still vote. I just have to update my information.
Yeah, I also need to re-register. Like fucking, that's an important thing. Vote, y'all.
Voters' rights.
Voters' rights.
They are always constantly trying to strip those away.
Yeah, it's really important. Not enough people do it, you know? Not enough people participate. And I understand they're incredibly disillusioned. Because it's really easy to, especially like in presidential elections, it's really easy to just be like, you know what, though? If I'm not in the super majority of this state, if I'm not, what the electors of, are going to vote, it doesn't fucking matter what I do. Because, whatever. But, in general, in state and local elections especially, you should fucking really participate. I think you should participate in presidential elections as well. It's the principle of the thing, and it might actually make a difference. But, I can understand being disillusioned with that to some point. The Electoral College is a fucking dumbass, outdated system. Doesn't help anybody.
I wish my gun wasn't over there.
The laser gun?
Yeah.
Go get it.
I'll get it in a minute when I feel like it. I'll shoot you every time you make a good point. So you've been studying Jawbones.
Yeah.
And I've been working. I feel like we've kind of gotten back into a normal routine schedule, sort of.
Uh-huh.
So to speak. I had the child, and the child's at home. The boy.
The boy!
That's what I call him. I got my laser gun.
The boy who lives!
I don't have time to do anything.
Yeah.
Ever. So that's the same.
That's the same.
That's the same.
I
think we don't have anything really to update people with, so we should probably
just go.
Should stop the show. Cancel the fucking podcast.
Just stop the show. We've been talking for what now? 13 minutes.
It's
fucking I'm working on videos. I'm working on the YouTube videos. I've got some things in the works. Look at that. This is the worst episode because we're both fucking exhausted.
It's just the first few minutes. It's fine. We'll get into the swing of thing. My child changed my watch. Hold it down for a minute. Give it the thing. That's a DS. Here, we'll pull up some news.
That was Funkadelic.
Halo 2 Anniversary removes the Arbiter scenes.
What?
No, it's certain Arbiter scenes that didn't make any sense that were from the Anniversary edition.
Cool.
I just wanted to make it crazy.
What were your favorite N64 games, Ben?
I mean, well, the basics. Like, what do you think?
You just fucking...
What do you think?
Original Super Smash, Mario Kart 64.
Super Smash Bros. On the 64, unpopular opinion, isn't that fun.
It's really hard. It's hard to do anything properly.
I don't know. Maybe that's not that unpopular of an opinion, but it's still my
I think
opinion.
anybody who's like, this was the best Super Smash Bros. And it isn't like whatever the most recent Super Smash Bros. They're probably they're wrong, because that's the whole point of the series, is to add new characters and you can do new things and it's better looking and easier and more functional. Like, I prefer Super Smash Bros. Melee because it's what I played for a long time when I was a kid. But I am sure that if I had the time to get good at the newer Super Smash Bros., they would be awesome. You know what I mean?
No, Melee's better.
Yeah.
But it's because you're old, Forrest. Just admit that you're old.
I am very old. We've talked
We don't know
before
shit about
how...
video games anymore. Go try to talk to a 20-year-old about video games, and they're going to laugh at every opinion you have, I promise.
I feel like that's probably true.
Go try to talk to a 20-year-old about anything that's not just like something you know more than them objectively about.
What the fuck sentence was that?
And they'll just make fun of you because you're old.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we can't relate anymore. There's that.
We're unrelatable, and we can't relate.
Or unrelatable.
We're so tired. What about, did you ever play fucking...
I could make a whole episode about shit I don't want to talk about.
That'd be cool. What's this? What the show is partially about.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be fun if we're just listing shit I don't, like, we don't want to talk. We're not going to talk about, Ukraine. We're going to talk about,
I really don't want to fucking talk about, like, rose gardening. I'm just not interested in
it.
This
is... I love how we fumbled into a thing that's real. I was thinking, what's interesting is, I don't know how much of this I can talk about without, like, putting myself out there a little bit. Yeah. But, like, basically, like, mask restrictions, like, it's not even just that they're being lifted now.
Yeah.
Which is whatever, fine, that's what they're doing.
It sucks.
I say if they're going to lift restrictions, that's fine. But... now it's like going the other way in some places where they're like telling places they can't require masks.
In America?
Yeah, like businesses and stuff are saying that. And it's kind of like... or they're saying like you need to limit it. Like it's weird. It's just like...
It's just... I think it's just fucking reactionary language where everybody's all up in arms about mandates that don't exist. Like
I keep saying that to people. I'm like, there's not any mandates.
There were some mask mandates, like in Tulsa for a little bit, and around the country there were some mask mandates. But like, there's yet to be a vaccine mandate, and everyone's like, "Fucking the trucker convoy stop the vaccine mandates." So like,
but here's my thing that I want to bring up is like, I think a business has the right. A business has the right to ask you to wear a mask, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay?
Yeah. They can have a dress code.
So if we start saying that you can't ask people to do that, now is that like, I mean, is that a problem?
No, well, yeah, it would be.
I think it's a
opens
problem.
Up the floodgates to just dumb shit. Like, that's the whole fucking, like, the thing is, any business can have any fucking rules that they want as long as they're legal.
It's just
right?
like, it's really annoying. Yeah, you're right, but I never thought about masks as political until COVID.
I once wasn't.
And I think that's fucking annoying.
Do you remember, it was during, I think it was during prom, or it wasn't during prom, it was during the banquet at the academy.
Oh.
And you and
I don't know what that is.
Well,
I don't know any of those things.
You and me and some other people, and there was a girl there. I'm not going to name anybody else, but like...
I don't know any of those
I'm
people.
99% sure you were there for this. We went to Walmart afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds like something I might have been there for.
And this girl that was with us didn't want to wear her heels in because she's tired of them, so she's walking barefoot into Walmart.
Oh.
And Walmart employee people came out and they were like, "Hey, you can't be in your barefoot." And so I took my shoes off and I walked around Walmart in socks, and she walked in my shoes, and that was allowed. You're allowed to walk around in socks, but not barefoot. That is a rule that Walmart has that's dumb as all hell. That's complete, but it's a rule that's fine, and it makes sense that they have it that way, and not one of us complained. We laughed a bit about it. I don't
think that's the rule. I think the rule is that you have to wear shoes, and I think
they just
that
gotta
guy
let
was like, fine.
Right. Yeah.
Fine.
I'm just saying, but like...
I was on my way to the cigarette bench.
Foot coverings are required in some way. Either way, the point is, we have been stopped over not wearing shoes in a store and had to correct for it. and we giggled about it, and we went about our way. And we were, 16, 17 years old, and we were more grown up than these fucking people throwing temper tantrums over having to wear a fucking mask for 5 seconds while they're goddamn researchers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't...
I can't breathe in Kroger, blah, blah, blah. And it makes you breathe your own carbon dioxide, and it's poisoning you. That's why, doctors and surgeons and dentists and shit have to wear them for 8 hours a day and are just fine with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that it's just weird to me that the mask debate is, back.
You know what, man?
It's, circled back around to being back.
This whole couple of years has disillusioned me.
I still know a lot of people who are, they don't want to get the vaccine, reasonably reasonable people who don't want to get it because they're oh, it was rushed. Yeah. And I'm it wasn't that rushed.
It wasn't. It's not exactly brand new technology. It's new-ish. It's more damn near miraculous technology, but it's not fucking that new.
Miraculous.
And it's been proven to be safe and effective on countless occasions now.
Oh, they got the genome. What does that mean? They finished the genome.
Sequencing the genome of COVID?
Sequencing the genome. No, all of us.
Oh, the human genome?
The human genome.
Radical.
They finished it. What does that mean?
It means that we have a complete map of what human DNA looks like. Not everybody's DNA, obviously.
But what the structure.
Yeah, just the general template of what genes are where. Because you have, there are only so many genes. A gene is just a stretch of DNA that codes for a particular thing. And so you and I have the same genes. We have different alleles, different versions of these genes.
That's why we can fuck.
Yeah. And so,
I'm not as dumb as I am on this show. I'm dumber.
And so I have biologist friends who argue that a gene isn't really even a thing. It's the allele is the concept that really matters. And anybody, and so I oversimplify sometimes when I'm talking about evolution, for example. Also, you have to have the right genes. They all have the same goddamn genes in the population. It's the alleles that are important. So
okay.
The point is now we have this structure, this map of where what genes are in our DNA and why,
which allows us to
dramatically enhances our ability to do genetic medicines, gene therapies. There's this really cool technology that's not super duper new. It was new to me when I learned about it a few weeks ago. Or they're able to use retroviruses. Retroviruses are class 6 viruses. They work by implanting their DNA into your DNA. And there's now retroviral therapy where if you are missing a vital gene and you have a genetic disorder in this way, we can literally use a virus and engineer a virus to have that gene and then literally infect you with the gene that you need, and it will be implanted into your body with a viral infection. How fucking crazy is that? And so that's a radical new technology.
Seeing people will be oh, that's insane, that's terrifying because somebody could use it for all these things, and it's yes.
But you can say that about anything.
But that's anything. That literally is
any medicine whatsoever. The fact that we can do organ transplants. You could do horrible, crazy, nightmarish Cronenberg experiments with fucking that, but we're not gonna.
Nobody would ever have done that,
except for all the times that did happen in history. But now we're not
from governments usually.
But now we're not. Now we're saving lives with it. And it's the tits.
Because now we only transplant the organs you need transplanted. We're not stitching 5 fucking kidneys together and being let's see if
how clean your blood could possibly get.
Oh,
We're going to take all of the fucking uric acid out of you. You're not going to have any left.
It appears that 8 kidneys is enough to filter an entire bloodstream completely.
Of blood.
Of blood.
There's no more blood in it.
Of course,
the pure drinking water coming out the other side.
The patient died 50 days before that happened. Patient. They wouldn't call them patients.
You know what's cool? Here's a fun fact for you listening at home.
When we call people subjects, that's very bad. That's a bad sign.
Talking about fucking kidneys, somebody who studies kidneys is called a nephrologist, because you have these things called nephrons in your kidneys, which are these tube loops that do the filtering, and you have these glands that sit on top of your kidneys.
Nephilim.
You have these glands that sit on top of your kidneys that deliver a very particular hormone called epinephrine because it's on top of your kidney.
I know about that.
And so it's epinephrine. And what's really cool is that your whole kidney system, the system that allows you to urinate,
kidney system,
is called your renal system.
Yeah.
And so
that's why when it goes away, they call it renal failure.
Exactly.
Because that's what you got.
And you have these glands on top of your kidneys that produce another chemical. They're on top of your kidneys. They're added to the renal, so it's called adrenaline. So you have adrenaline and epinephrine both come from a gland on top of the kidney. You know why? Because adrenaline and epinephrine are the same fucking thing, man. Those are two words for the exact same thing, and the two words literally mean the same thing as well.
Why are they, why is it like that?
Beats the hell out of me. I genuinely want to know the history of that. It's baffled me for a long time, and I've never, They
just didn't know it was the same thing for a long time, I assume.
That's possible.
And then they were like, oh, they're the same.
Yeah.
But because it was in different spots, they called it different things. Like their glands, right? So when they named them, they might not...
It's the same gland. The adrenal gland produces epinephrine.
Are they different colors or something? I don't know. Like, they got different numbers on them?
No.
I don't know how the body works. I assume it's got letters or something.
Oh. Let me double check.
You're trying to hook all the pieces together. Who does that? Who puts the bodies together?
Why?
The bodies together.
Why is adrenaline called epinephrine?
Who puts the bodies together? Who assembles the bodies? This is the stupidest podcast ever.
I can't see, and this is the thing. I can't find anything. I find shit that says yes, these are the same thing.
Are you using that search engine you told me about?
Google?
No, I know about Google, Forrest. Come on.
What, a Google Scholar?
The one with the trees, upwithtrees.com or whatever.
What are you talking about?
The search engine.
I told you about a search engine?
Yeah, you've told me about a lot of search engines.
Have I?
Over the years, yeah.
Maybe. What?
It started with DuckDuckGo. We're not going down this.
What?
I'm saying your search engine affects what your search results are.
Are you talking about echo chambers and when you an algorithm?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
You wouldn't let it even get that far. You just immediately were like, what's a search engine? What the fuck? Did you have a stroke?
The earliest recorded instance of the word adrenaline is from 1893. J.J. Abel coined the name epinephrine in the UK, but in the UK we still call it adrenaline. So I guess epinephrine is the American name and adrenaline is the British name, maybe?
No, it doesn't matter.
What a weird... I just don't know why this is the case, and it's baffled me for a long time.
God damn it. It's because the medical field is all hoopla.
I'm glad I'm not a doctor. I did a lot of biomedical sciences in my undergrad, and man.
I don't think I'd ever want to be a doctor. The only thing that sounds worse than being a doctor is being a surgeon.
Yeah. Because
then it's like, every time you go to work, you could fuck up. It's so bad that you don't get to go to work ever again.
You gotta take something apart like a car and act like that doesn't bother you. It is fun,
take something apart like a car.
You know what I mean? That's fucking...
Except for if you fucking fuck up somebody's car and they sue you, their people are probably still gonna let you work.
You're gonna have to replace a Mazda, and that'll be the worst part of your fucking week. But
replace a Mazda.
This way, you gotta replace somebody's grandma, and that's significantly more expensive.
Ahura Mazda.
What?
He's a guy. He's a god. Anyway.
There you go.
Nope.
Fucking. No, I think doctors are cool as fuck. You're a scientist that studies the fuck out of how humans can go wrong.
That's a hard job.
Yeah, dude. Man, I'm glad I didn't stay in that because I am way too scatterbrained. I like to study different stuff all the time, and just learning the hell out of one field bothers me. And so if I had to do that, like with a human, I would get so burned out so fast, and like I feel like my patience would know how tired of it I was. You know what I mean?
Wake up, buddy.
Hey,
Wake up.
The camera also is tired.
Good, thank God for that tired camera.
I got it. This is the ad break.
Good.
If you're still listening at this point, which I fucking, why would you be? To be honest.
They like it.
Ah.
I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know what's wrong with you people.
To listen to a show like this.
Stop insulting the fan.
Oh man, doctoring is awesome though. Also,
No, it's
pharmacology is really fucking cool.
It's really not. Doctoring, all of it. It's all high stress shit that burns people out and makes them act crazy.
In this country, yeah, I sure everywhere. Everywhere it's incredibly stressful, but especially in this country.
They make like one really good life decision, which is to dedicate themselves to an amazing profession, and then they fucking the rest of their life just fucking.
They just hate
insane.
it. They just hate it. But like, yeah, it's so fucking cool. Pharmacology is radical. The way you can just like know what chemicals are gonna make a person do things.
It's like any job. It's like I want to help people, and then you meet people. Fucking oh shit. I actually wouldn't mind if a bunch of stuff happened to them.
It's all right. I'll just sit here and watch. Yeah, no,
I don't want to mess with trying to help. They don't want to be helped.
No,
they want to be exploited.
That's the thing,
on
guys.
Mars.
They want to be exploited.
They're going to Mars. Have you seen that? They're really excited about that.
Who is going to Mars?
Tesla?
Oh, the fucking richest bitches?
They're going to take poor people with them. Don't you fucking kid yourself.
Somebody's got to run the machines.
The machines.
No, that surprises me very little, and it makes me very sad. Man, it's very quickly because
it's gonna be like fucking the outer worlds.
Worlds.
Yeah, it's just gonna be just like that.
The space
It'll
exploration
fun,
is something that like I have dreamt about and admired and wanted and like aspired to my whole fucking life, and now just like corporatizing it and making it this fucking gross thing where rich people get to go rub their dicks all over another planet first. And it's like, man.
Yeah, but that's how you get stuff done is you let the rich people go touch it first.
In shit-tacular capitalist bitch fest, yes, but like it doesn't
that's
have to be that way.
That's what we have.
It doesn't have to be
I think
that
that's the thing our species picked.
No.
On our skill tree, bro.
We don't have to. There actually is archaeological theory that's based around that assumption, and it's not necessarily accurate.
Wait, go into that. Hold on, I want to know about this.
So, when you study post-processual archaeological theory, have I talked to you about the three major groups of archaeological theory?
We have touched on it a little bit.
Okay, I'll recap
on this show, so that helps some. But
so there's three when you're talking about archaeological theory, and theory in this case, it doesn't necessarily. So okay, start at the beginning. So. Anthropology.
Start me at the beginning.
Anthropology in this country is broken up in 4 fields. It's started by Franz Boas, the first real anthropologist.
We touched on this a little bit before.
Yeah, so 4 fields of anthropology are cultural anthropology, which is studying, the grass skirts and the dances and the music and the language and the beadwork and the cultural side of things, right? Very, very artistic. Very much just taking notes on what people are doing, trying to understand them. Yeah, throw that over there. Fuck that shit, whatever that was.
Let me just spread out a little bit.
Then
comfortable.
There's on the opposite side, there's biological anthropology, which is very science. And bioanthropology is studying human evolution, studying the human animal, studying human biology. The reason why I did a lot of biomedical sciences is to learn how humans work biologically. And so that's bioanthro. The third field is linguistics, which is another artsy one. It's just learning languages and where languages come from and things like that.
Okay.
Blending the arts and the science is archaeology. Because archaeology is very much science in that the way you conduct experiments, the way you do research, the way you write your reports, the way you go out in the field and do very careful digging and extracting and containing and making measurements, and like all of this is science. But then there's archaeological theory, which is how you interpret the facts that you know.
Ah, so that's the wibbly wobbly bullshitty stuff.
It can be. There are parts of it that I think
that's the slippery slope.
Well, that's because there's not just one archaeological theory. Is the thing.
There's
so,
not
like,
just one slippery slope.
In science, in science, the word theory is a functional explanation for observed natural phenomena that's backed by all the best evidence that we have. That's the way that we talk about, right? Okay. So, like the theory of gravity, the theory of evolution,
you
the
said
theory
that
of plate
really
tectonics.
fast, like it was the end of a fucking pharmaceutical commercial.
The
scientific theory is
a scientific theory.
Don't add water.
A functional explanation for observed natural phenomena that's backed by all of the best evidence that we have. Plate tectonics is a theory.
Got it.
Atoms are a theory. Your body being made of cells is a theory, right? And so this is just a model for how we explain the universe. And the cool thing about all theories and all models, and just like all maps, they're all fucking wrong. They all are. Every map is wrong, right? So like the map of the Earth from the 1600s is better than no map, but it's fucking wrong. Google Earth satellite images today are better than the 1600s map, but they're still fucking wrong because every second of every day something's moving around, right?
Which essentially boils down to like we know why a thing does a thing because it does a thing because of this thing, but we don't understand yet that it does that because this, because that, because this, because
the Earth is what the Earth looks like, and a map is our best representation of that. So reality is what reality is, and a theory is our best representation.
He's saying we don't know what we don't know.
There's always going to be wiggly room, and so like. In archaeological theory, what we're doing is we are putting facts in order. We are taking the facts that we know about what we dug up out of the ground.
You're trying to figure out people who you can't talk to.
And that's why it's so tricky. And so we have this data. We have all this information that we dug up out of the ground, shit that we know about these cultures, shit that we know about other species of humans. You know, I'm working on Homo erectus. That is archaeology because it's digging up human remains. And it's just a different species of humans. And so, like, the facts that we have about them, we have to make those make sense. We have to interpret them, and these are different theories, different ways of looking at these facts. And so, in archaeology, more than any other science, you have this whole competing theory thing because, like you just said, we can't go back and ask the fucking people what they were doing and why. We can just take the evidence that we have and look at it through the lens of what was going on. So there's three major schools of archaeological theory. The first one is called cultural historic, which is just the facts on the ground. They made pots out of this material. This was the king of the village at the time. They lived in this area. There is nothing else we can possibly know besides this is what we have here in the dirt. We have gray things. We have brown things. That's all we have. That's cultural historical theory in a nutshell, right?
That sounds...
And that's what most people think about when they think about archaeology.
Really boring.
Then there's processual archaeological theory, which is applying biology, mainly like ecology and stuff, applying science to the data. So, okay, we can tell from the residue on this pot that they ate a lot of corn, right? How did that affect their diet? Why was that important? Assuming that humans are going to behave like any other animal, they're going to get this because it's nutritionally rich and it's going to help them, and then they're going to live and they're going to plant their crops in this way because this way it'll grow better, and we're applying the rules of ecology to human civilization. And so that is one of my favorite things, you know what I mean? Excuse me, I'm real burpish. And so that's processual archaeological theory. Then there's post-processual archaeological theory. I'm sitting all weird. My jacket's getting all twisted. It's really obnoxious.
That's because of the way you're all passionate.
You asked me about something exciting, and now I'm sitting up and talking.
No, I know. That's what I did. I know what I did.
Then
there's made content out of forests.
There's post-processual archaeological theory, which is now trying to figure out what it means to be a human in this new context. How did these people think? What did they actually want? What were they doing? because not everything that humans do has a scientific logical explanation to it. Sometimes they do shit that's really fucking weird because they think it's important when it's not. Take about other religions, other cultures, other belief systems, other ontologies. Ontology is the study of existing. And so, like, what does it mean to exist as a human in this culture at this time? What did they feel like? That's post-processual archaeological theory. And that's where you get a lot of really, really interesting discussions. And also, in my opinion, a lot of straight-up fantasy. Where people are just like, when you're in this area, you're overwhelmed by this feeling of blah, blah, blah. And so these people must have experienced life in this way. It's like, no, that's how you feel.
What the fuck?
And you can't fucking say. And I am
what?
I am obviously putting a straw man up for
I
for
feel
this,
like I've heard that said though.
But if you ever want to be equal parts like really intrigued and fucking just pissed off, look up phenomenology. Phenomenology is this form of archaeological theory that I absolutely fucking despise. Phenomenology. It's studying the phenomenon of being a human. Yeah.
What is that?
It's when you're
studying the human experience, so to speak.
Yeah. What does it feel like to like experience if you were in ancient Rome and you were actually a Roman citizen, and so you have to think like all the context, all the things we know about Roman law and culture and society, and put yourself there, and then walk into the Acropolis and look, and how do you feel in this moment? And then you write that down, and they must have felt this. They felt a sense of awe and wonder when you don't know shit about shit. That's where Tom went and fucking smoked corn husks behind the barn with his friends. It doesn't mean anything to them.
It's probably a lot closer to how people feel like when they go outside now, right? Like,
and
it's
just
like if
do
you
nothing.
Go outside New York, it's like if I went to New York, I'd be like, wow, this is a crazy place. But if you live in New York,
it's just like, this is fucking New York. Yeah,
you go outside in the morning,
like
you're like, fucking smells like shit.
I always argue,
so it's like,
I argue that archaeologists are the worst people to write phenomenology
because they love these places,
because they know everything there's to know and they're super invested, whereas the people there are just fucking there.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about it, you know.
If you're born in Rome, you're not like, I mean, you're like, yeah, the Colosseum's cool. It's cool. Like, I mean, I heard like other places.
I'm not super into it myself. I like to go just stay home and watch Roman Netflix, but like whatever.
That's the other thing too, is people. I feel like there's like they don't. What do they have? You don't have anything to compare anything to a lot of times.
Nothing.
When you're living in these ancient societies, like you literally have your day-to-day existence to go on.
Exactly, and so like
that's not to belittle those people, but it's like that's what they were feeling.
But phenomenology,
it was every single day.
Phenomenology is just one branch of post-processual archaeological theory that I super duper don't like. But like there are other ones that I really, really, really fucking do. And there's also this whole thing called middle range theory, where you like connect your shit to like modern analogs and try to draw conclusions, and that's a little bit more reasonable. But like the cool thing that I think is interesting is that some examples of post-processual archaeological theory are feminist theory, for example. Feminist theory is the radical and really shockingly new idea that women existed all throughout history and that they did stuff. And like there's a surprising amount of like when you go back and review the literature and these fucking great scientists that are like admired and revered that are like, yes, and then the men hunted and gathered and brought the food home and the women sat there. Probably, I don't know if they mention the women at all. And like now they're going back and like reviewing these cultures that were like written about back in the 60s by processual archaeologists. And they're like, hey, it says here in our records that like the men do all these things. What do the women do? And the people who actually live in these cultures are like, what the fuck are you talking about? The women do everything here. What? And like, and it's because, I don't know, there's a long history of that. So like, feminist archaeological theory is fucking radical, and it breaks down a lot of really cool shit. Black feminist theory in particular is really interesting because it's basically fucking critical race theory and radical feminism as a science, which I fucking love. And it's just breaking down like, hey, here's the horrible scars of all the dumb shit that you fucking men have done over this. It's rad. Look up, if you're interested, Sterling, I think Kathleen Sterling wrote a paper over Black feminist archaeological theory, and it's absolutely fucking mind-bending read, because like the whole time I was sitting there just reading like, oh my god, yes, it's so good. Because she breaks down like the history of race and anyway, but
which is very complicated.
It's fucking sick, dude.
Race is insane.
Like what the race,
the way race, like
she breaks down what race really means. Like, well, I think the way it's been a long time since I read her work, so I don't want to talk too much about it, because I'm gonna oversimplify it, or I'm gonna say shit that isn't actually in there, that I'm mixing it with something else. But like,
it has been a long time.
There's this one part where she said that stuck out to me, where she's talking about what whiteness is, and she says, like, I can't easily define like other races, but like whiteness is easy to define, because whiteness is the absence of other races. Whiteness is the absence of color. Yeah. Whiteness is what it means and like, so you look at Barack Obama, he is half white, half black. But if I say Barack Obama is white, that would sound absurd to a lot of people, because he has any black in him at all, he is no longer white. White is the absence of everything else. You can be half black, half Hispanic and go by black, or go by Hispanic. Or you can be Asian and go by whatever. But if you have anything at all, you can't be white. And it's like, it really draws this conclusion of like just how elitist
it's
the
really
concept
terrifying,
is.
and it's been fucking with me more and more now whenever I check like the Caucasian box, because like they've added other boxes and there's more boxes, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to ever not check the Caucasian box.
Yeah.
Because to me it's like like right now I don't know, like if they are treating me better.
Yeah. There was
it's like it sucks, because I feel there's so much. It's so weird.
But the whole
Race
point
is weird.
It's stupid. It's a uniquely American invention. We'll get on that later. But like the cool thing is, you said that
we spread it all over the world.
You said that as a species we pick capitalism. So
yes.
Most archaeological theory has made that assumption, because it came out of capitalist societies. And so we have the heuristics of capitalism baked into our minds, where you have to work to produce the value of being a human. And so we have this concept of these capitalist heuristics that we're looking at everything through that lens, and as objective as we're trying to be, we're looking through the lens of, you don't have value as a person unless you're making money, before we even know what money is. And like,
we're producing something.
Yeah, and we're like, well, obviously there's leaders in the tribe, somebody has to be in charge, right? And obviously they're going out and they're hunting to get food so that they can better their living situation, because they have to earn, their living, and then build her up their, you know what I mean? And we look at these things that we wouldn't even consider to be strictly capitalist, because this is the concept of what we call the doxa. The doxa are just the rules for living. Like, you don't even question these rules. It's just how to exist, right? And we have this doxa of capitalist. For example of doxa. Imagine you go to a concert, right? Where are you going to sit at the concert? Are you going to sit in the front row? Are you going to sit in the back? Are you going to sit in the middle? Are you going to sit off to the side? Are you going to sit on the balcony, right? Really think about it, and then think about, why didn't you pick, I would sit on the stage next to the musician? Because that's not allowed. That's not part of the game that you're playing in this moment, right? Yeah. It didn't even cross your mind, because that's the doxa. That's this box of heuristics that you live in.
I'm with you.
Yeah. And so we live in this capitalist framework that we look at everything about our lives and everything else's life through these rule books of what it means to earn a living, to have this social hierarchy and everything. And so, for example, there are other ways to look at this. Marxist theory is really, really cool. And there's this long, it has a totally different, I'll give the viewpoints here in a minute, but like, it's really important to point out that Marxist archaeological theory was like all but a fucking banned. Like, people would not allow it to be discussed or published because it was Marxist. And like, it's a fascinating different take on how human society might have started and been structured. And it gives you a different perspective on what it means to come up as a tool-making animal. You know what I mean? Because but there was like for a lot of time, like in the West, it was just reviled and completely just not allowed to be talked about
for obvious reasons.
Exactly. And so, and especially because a lot of the Marxist authors were also like South and Central American, and like they don't want that. Like, so
that doesn't fly.
No, of course not. And so like anyway, so Marxist theory, Marxism is inherently very materialistic, right? So like when you have this other idea, you have these kind of idealistic, of they wanted to be better, blah blah blah. Like so, Marxism is very materialistic. Everything is real, tangible stuff, and you have to focus on the ideas of like class struggle, of like there is somebody in charge, and we are struggling for equality. Nature is in charge, and we're struggling for equality. Right? Yeah. We come up in this land, and the fucking land is now fighting against us to try to keep us subdued, and we are fighting for our freedom over nature, and then we fight for freedom over the chief, and we fight for freedom over, and we look at now into actual human history, and it is this struggle of the main population against the guy with the biggest stick, against whoever. And when we see now this march of progress, this march of human rights, this march of technological advancement, it is a struggle for human freedom rather than a struggle for the next big idea that's going to make me rich and famous, right? Yeah. And it totally changes the framework of what it means to be a human. And then you start to realize that up and like when you look at like every major like economic time period, you go back to like the serfism and fiefdoms and shit, and you go back to like the fucking feudal lords and everything, and you go back to
the good old days,
right? And you go back to like the robber barons in America, and you go back to like you go back to the Great Depression. And you see these things that we were taught in school as just like the natural progression of things as better ideas came about and better inventions came about, better technology came about, and we all became better people. And it totally restructures that as humans like fighting for using their will to be free. And it's a totally different story.
Technically how that happened.
But
anyway, I mean, like you could say both are wrong and right in their own ways.
It's a different lens to look at the same story. Which I think is
why there's a very big value to looking at human history through a lot of different lenses.
Yeah.
Which I think is what you're getting at.
Yeah, and so like Marxist theory as applied to archaeology is this really cool way
That's really interesting.
To look at humans as a different kind of animal than our capitalist overlords would have us believe. That we're not subservient on purpose. That we are not naturally falling into these hierarchies of humans. Because like, I don't know, that there's more to it than that. That it actually is
I would say there's some nature to it. Like I would say there's certain people who it's like in their nature to just be more easy for fucking somebody else to control.
Oh, it's easier to
because if you're a nicer person by default, you can be easier to control.
I guess, yeah.
For a meaner person, like it's that's a very simple way to explain manipulation. But like manipulation of people occurs both on like a 1-to-1 ratio and also like on a national level.
Yeah.
So like, some would say a global scale, but they're crazy people. But I mean, so going on, but yeah, that's really interesting because I didn't know all that.
Noam Chomsky talked a
lot. Funny name.
Yeah, he does. He talks a lot about like especially like with the education system, and not just in America, but in most of the global North.
Education system, basically,
but mainly in the global North. But like,
they're all made to do a thing.
Being an indoctrination system for like capitalist nonsense, and the fact that. Why don't we talk about the people who speak out against America's war crimes and what their philosophies are and what their ideas are and what they stand for, these things. But we learn all about the people who fought against Nazis because they should have, and all the people who fought against the Soviets because they should have. And like, no one's saying those people aren't important. But why haven't we talked about the people who don't like America? Why is it always, you know what I mean? And like, it's the same thing here with when we talk about the way we are taught to look at human history. Why don't we talk about Marxist theory? Why don't we talk about anarchist theory?
History in school, they don't talk about any theories in history. And history, if we're talking about K through 12, is jacked.
Because I am a huge fan of anarchist theory. But they can't
talk. The problem with history, too, in America, though, is that it's not like we have, like, a unified code of history at all.
Marxist theory,
everybody's got their own version of it, with their own fucking. They either look at it through like a liberal lens or a conservative lens.
So you have two different possible ways you can exist as a human, and it's stupid.
In America,
Marxism, I have some problems with. I don't really like the whole labor theory of value concept, among other things. But like, it's great. It's better than most things. But like anarchist theory, look up fucking anarchism and archaeology. Anarchist theory, and it's a great way to look at humans as just freely assembling because they recognize that it's better if we work together for a thing, not because somebody told them to. And it just totally changes the way you look at these early fucking apes.
Well, I think initially that's come on.
Doesn't that make sense?
We just did it because we were the same type of animal.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. Well, we're not like the only fucking primates to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are other primates, like gorillas, for example. They gather in groups, and they have a hierarchy. So that does exist biologically. Chimps don't do that as much. They gather in groups, don't seem to have it. And then you have like...
What do chimps do?
They kind of just hang in the group. They do have somewhat of a hierarchy, but not nearly.
Usually like an alpha fucker or something?
It's not nearly as much as like a gorilla situation. And bonobos are remarkably fucking egalitarian, but they do have like somewhat of a hierarchy. They do have a little bit of people in charge, and it's females. They're a matriarchal society. They have an alpha female, so to speak. Alpha isn't really a thing, but like it just turn a phrase.
What does it mean?
They do have leaders.
Who makes this? Is it like, I mean, they're animals, so like makes decisions is also a loaded term, I would assume. But when you're on that level of intelligence, though, they're making decisions. Like, they're like, we're going to go here.
Yeah.
We're gonna stab those bushes today.
They do stab bushes, though, especially chimpanzees. They eat bush babies.
I know, it's your favorite primate.
Have I told you about that?
To talk
I probably have.
Dude, I understand what they do, okay? Chimps are terrifying.
They are.
They hunt with spears.
God,
they fish with spears. They get a hold of that stuff in Planet of the Apes, and it makes them super smart.
That happens every day.
It happens every day. God, it happens every day. I'm scared of the monkeys, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Catarines. It's about an hour.
Catarines?
Catarines.
What does that mean?
It's a type of monkey.
What kind?
The kind that we are.
Beautiful.
Yeah. There's platyrines and catarines.
Platyrines.
And then there's...
Hold on. Who's the fucking idiot in the platyrines category? I want to see.
New World monkeys.
Who's that? Who are those?
You
give me their street names?
Monkeys that have prehensile sails.
I don't know any of them. They all suck. They all suck. Everybody I know ain't got no tail.
And then there's
we're on the cool team, right? It's like chimps and gorillas.
Great apes.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
You don't hear that about the prehensile fuckers.
There are lesser apes as well.
Damn.
Gibbons and siamangs.
It makes sense.
Siamangs are my favorite lesser ape. They're one of my favorite apes in general.
Why are they called lesser apes? Is it because they just didn't win?
They little and they got long arms.
Let's make an episode about apes, dude.
I've got a friend who's a primatologist that I bet you would love to fucking talk about it.
I would love to have a conversation with a primatologist, but if we're gonna actually have a conversation with a person, we need to prepare.
Yeah, there's a whole mess of things to make this podcast better. We have to clean up our house for guests.
No, Skype.
Oh, yeah,
Skype.
We can Skype it in.
Skype it in.
Fucking what was it? What was the other thing?
You were trying to say goodbye. My coffee gave me hiccups.
Oh yeah, and then there's strepsirrhines.
What is a strepsirrhine?
Lemurs. They have dogs.
I don't think they count.
They have rhinariums. They have dogs.
Rhinarium. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. That's made up.
Us and the other apes were called haplorhines, which literally means simple noses, flat little normal noses.
Simple noses.
Yeah.
Flat noses.
Haplorhines.
Haplorhine.
Yeah.
Haplorhine. That makes me happy.
All of these, you notice they all end in rhine. Rhine means nose. They're all characterized by the shape of their fucking noses. Platyrhine, I believe, means downward nose, and catarrhine means upward nose, if I remember correctly. I might be getting those two mixed up. I sometimes do.
What are we?
We are haplorhines and catarrhines. I'm 99% sure catarrhines. I could be mixing up catarrhines and platyrhines. But I don't think I am, though.
Damn it, man.
I've got myself mixed up. I don't think I am.
I'll go. I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I need... My eyes are on fire.
Yeah, I'm going to go to bed. This is awful. This is an awful show.
No,
Why would we do this to ourselves?
They don't live. They do.
Thanks so much for tuning in. This week we talked about a bunch of... I don't know what the fuck.
Monkeys!
Hey, the camera died just in time.
We talked about monkeys.
For just a minute, though.
Well, if you really think about it, every episode we've talked about monkeys.
Yeah. I've been nursing this headache for a while. Ben got me
headache?
excited about archaeological theory for a minute.
It's very exciting. We could talk a lot more about it, honestly, in the future.
Anytime you want, man. I'll give you a fucking mountain of papers about it.
I'm usually not this tired, but I'm very tired this week.
Thanks for the hot chocolate.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. Any place.
Fuck the Confederacy. White supremacy is stupid. And the Confederates were traitors and losers. And Nazis are losers too. And if any of those statements offend you, go fuck yourself.
No, just reevaluate where you're at in life.
After fucking yourself, though.
Fucking yourself can sometimes be pleasurable.
I guess so.
Don't do it if you like.
Fuck yourself into a better frame of mind.
Better frame of mind. I'm glad we did an episode again, as always, even if it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry. I dropped the ball. I was very tired.
We both apologize for this show again existing. Please turn this shit off. Oh, man.
We'll be back to try again.
Have an awesome night, everybody. Bye.
I can't wait for episode 400. Wait. Don't hit any buttons.
There you go. Send them off with that.